Yeah, are we going already?
We're already, everything's going.
What have you been up to?
Dude, just freaking living the dream, building the squad.
You have a little time off until your next blitz.
Yeah, next week we're gonna blitz again.
Are you doing any recruiting?
Yeah, I'm doing. I'm always looking, bro. Always looking for hungry young guys that want to make some money.
Have you been teaching people how to recruit this week?
Yeah, we get dialed. A lot of social media recruiting. We look for guys that are like in the gym, have sales experience. We just headhunt. We're headhunting.
Just DMing 100 people.
Just DMing guys that look sexy, you know.
That's what I love to do. I did that for like 2 years. I mean, that's all I did. It was my life. Like just trying to talk to as many guys as possible to get them here.
Yeah. And it's the recruiting thing is interesting because I get, and this might just be to help people that are in the recruiting game, but I get a lot of copy and paste DMs from guys. I respond to zero. I don't respond to any copy. Like you can tell when it's copy and pasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to think about in all aspects of life. You got to think about how much effort are you putting in, and what are you getting out, and how can you put the least or maximize your effort basically, but the least amount of effort in to get the most out. And if you're gonna direct message guys for an hour, you turn on a podcast, you're laying in bed, you're so much more effective if you literally headhunt. Not just message any guy, but find a guy that has a six-pack and is hitting the gym and say, hey, dude, I saw that you go to UNT. You know, I live about 30 minutes away. The reason I'm messaging you is because I saw that you work out in the gym, and I know that you're probably competitive and, like, disciplined, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. This is what I do. That is going to be so much more effective if you send like 20 of those out than like 200 copy pastes.
Yeah.
I don't know who copy paste works on, but it's probably a low level person if it works on anyone.
That's exactly right. It's going to bring in the lower level guys, right? But the top tier guys, the big talent, are not going to respond to a copy and paste, you know, and you can tell. So you can tell. So it takes a little bit more time, but the more genuine you can be in your recruiting, the more effective it's going to be because the person that's being recruited, they want to feel like, you know, they want to know that you care about them, that you actually are interested in who they are as a person and help them achieve their goals. So if you are going to DM guys, you know, take a couple of minutes, look at their profile, see what their interests are, see if you have something in common and, you know, let it, you know, have it just be a natural conversation, just like you would talk to anybody at the gym or the, you know, drive through or whatever.
And then what would you say are the biggest flaws in just mass recruiting anyone? Because I see a lot of these guys want to get into recruiting. They're like, dude, I got to recruit. And they bring them in or they show me. And I'm like, dude, there's like 10 red flags there. Like, what is the incentive to headhunt, I guess?
Dude, it's a tough balance because you never know who can be good in sales. That's kind of what I've learned.
True.
I wouldn't know, like some guys you're like, you can't go off of looks really because some guys that you might initially, you know, Facebook value, you look at him, you're like, oh, that guy is probably not quite cut out for this. And then all of a sudden he comes in, he's a killer, right? And then vice versa. I might find a guy that looks like he was working at Abercrombie, freaking looks like a mannequin, you know, and he goes out there and he's crying. He's like, I can't do this. It's too hard. So
yeah,
it's
right.
Crazy. So there is, I try to give everybody a chance, right, to a certain degree. And so I like to get everybody on a sales blitz. It's a week-long blitz where they get to try it out. We get to know them. They get to know us. We get to learn their work ethic, how well they can learn and adapt to the pitch and the product. And then from there, we can kind of decide if we want to have them on another blitz or we cut ties.
Dude, I'm freaking pumped, man. It's a good time of year. It's like all the hard work pays off this time of year. And like this enjoyment of the guys, like just we were all playing basketball together just now. Like they have money built up from their work they did in the summer. They don't have to stress about money right now like most humans do around the holidays. And like we were watching football the other night, like no one has to go to work the next day and they work hard in the summer but so that they can have the best holiday season is like so fun for Vivint people.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's you put in the work ethic, and now guys can relax a little bit. As in leadership though, we're always grinding, but it's at our own pace. Like essentially we set our own schedule, what days we want to come into the office. Like we're, what is it, Wednesday today? It's like lunchtime, and we're just in here shooting a podcast, chilling. But there's guys that make a bunch of money in the summer and they want to travel. So, some guys will travel for even up to a month. Some guys will go to Italy for a month and their phone's off and can't get hold of them. And then they end up popping back up in December sometime, and they've, had some time to travel. And some guys do that. Other guys, invest their money into different projects and things like that. And some guys bet their money on sports,
Yep. Yeah. I was talking crazy, bro. Last night I was talking to one of my clients that like bought my picks and has won money with me and stuff. And he was like, dude, there's a podcast you're on. It was so good. It was like the best stuff. Because I did a podcast with him on my channel to tell his story of how he made like $5,000 in a week. Mm-hmm. And he was like, dude, like he was describing it. And I was like, who the hell are you talking about? And he was talking about this.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, yeah, that's Trent. I was like, dude, I need to. So I hit you up and I was like, dude, let's record one tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's cool that he watched that, because I didn't know that he watched it. And he's like, I've been sharing that with so many people. And he's a truck driver. He's like in his late 30s. Mm-hmm. And we're friends through my sports betting page. But it was cool to hear. And I was like, yeah, man, this is a good podcast. We're not going to pull millions of views, but it is fun to get on here and just kind of update where we're at in life. Yeah. And then we'll be able to look back on it. And then it's cool too for the team, because like we just talked a lot about recruiting, but one thing I wanted to add too before we move on is like the reason you recruit. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And I learned it because I asked questions when I was getting like kind of interviewed to do this. I was like, well, how much money do you make? What do you have to do? And I asked a lot of questions. I was a recruiter in the Army, so I asked how much you got paid for recruiting, and I really broke it down. And there's like 4 streams of income as a recruiter, and you get probably every dollar that your recruit makes, you're probably making 5 or 10 maybe. I think it was around there. So everybody kind of knows about overrides, but I think the one thing that I wish everyone knew, and I think everyone in our group should be aware of, is the residuals. Because the residual, I think, is what really makes you have security in this.
No, it's true.
Because 99% of guys, bro, like you've had residual for years now, but 99% of these guys, they get their pay on Fridays in the summer, they get their back end, and they got to stretch that out. But, talk about residual and kind of how you have it set up or.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of benefits on the recruiting side. And if you are in any type of management position at another company, I would love to see the comp plan that you're in versus what we offered our leadership, because I haven't found one that is as robust and has as many levels of income, right? So obviously, yeah, when you get into leadership over at Vivint, obviously the leaders still sell, right? We want to be the top guys on the team. We want to lead from the front. So we're still making our own commissions off of our own customers that we're setting up. Number 2, we get overrides, and so we get paid based off the production of the team, which is good, because if the team crushes it, then our pay goes up. If the team doesn't do good, our pay goes down. And so as leaders, we're motivated to push the needle with the guys. So if we're helping, we want to make sure we're training the guys effectively. We want to make sure we're teaching these guys how to work all the hours. Like, we're really invested into the team's success, because it affects us as well. Where if you're another company where your needle doesn't move, regardless of the production of the team, you're not really giving your guys as much maybe training or attention as they need to be successful. So by me helping the team kill it, I kill it. So it's a win-win. So then the third way we get compensated is monthly residual pay, which on average it's about $1 a month for each account that our team puts on. And that compounds year after year. So if you run a sales team and they install 700 accounts on the year, then you're making about $700 a month in residual pay every month, right? And then the next year, if your team does, another 700 that year, now your pay's up to $1,400 a month.
Yeah, because
it compounds.
And it might not be $1,400, it might be like $1,300 or $1,350, because it continues forever until that customer cancels or stops paying.
Right.
So you think about like me and my family, we'll always have Vivint. Like, we love it. We can't live without it, because we need to see those cameras and see where everyone's at outside if you hear a noise or something.
Yeah.
So every month when I pay my Vivint bill, you get $1.
Exactly.
So you owe me like $50 by now, bro. I've had Vivint for months, man.
There we go. So you're right. So it goes.
That's super motivating to me though, because
Yeah.
you just think you're building this money printing machine that keeps going even when you stop. So a guy like, I remember Adam Nelson told me when y'all were talking with me when I came up to Dallas, he's like, yeah, so my, monthly bills, my expenses, my residual is up to like, it was like $7,000 a month, I think. And he's like, it covers all my car bill, my house, everything. So all the other money I make is just extra. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, that's crazy that you can actually build your residual to a point where it covers all your bills and then all your commissions are straight extra cash.
Yeah. Cash on top. So yeah, the residual plan's great. And then the last thing is we get paid in stock. So at a certain level of the company, when you're in leadership, the company gives us stock every year in the company. And on average, it's around $50,000 worth of stock that we get every December. And so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they do that. So we have 4 different levels of pay just by getting into leadership. Now, getting into leadership at Vivint is not easy, right? Like it's a grind. You got to sell at a high level. You got to be able to attract and recruit other talent, train that talent, get production, right, and retain them long term. So we want to make sure we provide a good opportunity that they want to be a part of long term.
And for me, man, coming from Army recruiting, I was probably the most knowledgeable recruiter in the whole Army, right? And it sounds crazy to say that, but I definitely was. I mean, my first year at Vivint, I recruited more rookie accounts than anybody, and it was, I got there late in the summer, and I was the lowest guy. I was the lowest guy on the team because I was the youngest, pretty much. Mm-hmm. It was like, because I was born this year and they were all born 10, 20 years before that, they were my managers. And most places when you work a job, that's how it is. Your manager is probably an idiot, but he was born 15 years before you, so you're working for him. And at Vivint, it's not like that. It's straight numbers and production. So if you put up the accounts, you're regional manager now. You're all the levels of management you hit through those accounts. It's got nothing to do with if somebody likes you or this or that, which is super dope.
Yeah. It's super refreshing because, nobody wants to get a promotion because the boss likes them the most. Or, it's 100% based off of your results. And if you don't perform, get demoted.
Yep, it's recruiting season, man. And Nick Turner is doing really good things. He's got a recruit coming in here at 2, so.
Yeah, Nick's been crushing it.
Got some time.
Been with us for 3 years, and he's blowing up right now. He's got a great crew, and one thing we can take away from Nick is he's just always done everything he's supposed to do. Right? He's not trying to reinvent the wheel. He's copying the footprint that's already been paved before him from other guys that have done this for decades, and he just comes in and says, "Hey, what's the blueprint?" We give it to him, and he follows it to a T, and just by him doing that, he's crushed it, doing really, really well. 6-figure earner, 23 years old, making well over 6 figures, and he's on track to do even better this year. So he's a stud.
Yep, he is. He was showing the other guys some game, and he was teaching guys that aren't his recruits, so he doesn't get any money off of them at all, and he's helping them. And that's something I like about Vivint too. Is there were a lot of guys that helped me, and some of them aren't even around anymore, but like they helped me so much, and they really had no incentive to. And it was cool. And you see that in the military too, where people are it's really a team environment. And what people don't recognize as well about that is like you could be helping a guy that's not your recruit, but if you do all the things right and you show up on time and you start running an office, that guy might have him and 5 of his friends that he has now. They might be part of your office, help you hit your numbers. And you need an organization like this. It's structured just like the military, like with the levels of management, right? Levels of leadership. Like we need leaders at every level. So as you go on and hit 5,000 accounts, like there's going to need to be a few people running offices. Mm-hmm. So eventually it all comes back around to you. So it's like you just got to try to help anybody that is in Maven and part of Maven, help them be the most lethal money making weapon they can be as far as recruiting and sales and everything. and then it's going to help everybody over the years.
Yeah. And what's the end goal, right? I mean, a lot of these guys, it's, provide a better lifestyle, not have to stress about bills. But what's crazy, dude, and we've talked about this before, is a lot of guys get involved in that lifestyle creep where they start making more money, so they start spending more money, start putting themselves into more debt. And
Yeah.
so now it's like, doesn't matter if you make $300,000 a year. If you spend $300,000 a year, you're just as broke as the guy that makes 50 grand a year and spends it all, right? So
Yeah, you're right.
it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep and how you manage your money. So
Yeah, dude. I mean, last time we talked, like everything's so different now. It's like I did a 180, but I was buying all those houses and I was getting so stressed.
yeah, what happened with
And
that?
every fucking day, dude, there was like 10 things to do. And of course, when you're buying houses, there's a lot to do. But I started thinking, I was like, dude, once I own these houses, I'm going to have to do all those utilities. I'm going to have to do this and this. Obviously, I'm going to hire a property manager. But then I'm like, honestly, I was thinking about myself and I'm like, do I think some of these guys that I follow on YouTube, like Alex Hormozy or, you look at like Andy Elliott, Bradley, Grant Cardone, I'm like, are they doing this shit? There's no way. And I was like, you know what, man, right now I have about 350 grand or so, or 400 liquid. I'm like, instead of getting 5 houses, let me just focus on using this money to get in the room. And what that means is maybe you pay somebody for an hour phone call. Maybe you pay, I think Cardone charges like 150 grand for an hour long phone call. But what that could lead to could be tens of millions, right?
Right.
Because if you talk to him for an hour, he's going to learn everything about you. If he learns everything about someone like me, a light bulb might go off. He might connect me with somebody that helps me unlock millions.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Instead of burning this money, because I was basically trying to avoid taxes, I was like, dude, let me just keep making a ton of money. I'll eat the taxes for now. Take as little on my plate as possible. Like take everything off my plate except one thing, which is my sports betting content and sports betting.
Yeah.
And lower the stress completely. So now my stress is way lower. You still have stresses in life,
Right.
But that's kind of how I chose to attack it. And I need to send you the video. I don't know if I sent it to you, but Andy Elliott actually was getting interviewed by School of Hard Knocks. He just goes to areas and interviews like rich people and asks them like, how did you make your money? Mm-hmm. And of course he was collabing with Andy. He probably didn't run into him, but Andy actually dropped this bomb that I wasn't expecting. And it was funny because I just had gone through this where I'm about to buy all these houses. I back off and basically take the opposite approach. And it was like I needed to go through that process to feel that, to get to that point, right? Like I wish I would have just never started it, but I got more info. I learned. Right. Anyways, dude, Andy drops this bomb. He's like, for me personally, I just focus on making money. He's like, I make a ton of money. I pay a ton of taxes. I don't mess with anything else, and I pay cash for everything. And
wow.
And I'm like, dude, that's literally what I just.
That's a different approach than what you normally hear.
Yeah, as a 30-year-old, and I've been deep into investing and I understand leveraging debt in real estate and it's exciting. And I always thought once I get money, I'm going to do that. And that's why I started doing it. But then once I had the money and I have money coming, I'm like, you know what, man? Let me just pay cash for everything, live stress-free. And it's funny because Chris Lacera actually taught me that indirectly, just me observing his life.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy doesn't spend money on anything. He doesn't really invest. He invests a little, but he really doesn't invest. He just makes a ton of money, spends very little. He owns his car cash. He owns everything he owns cash. And he will never stress about money. And I'm like, is the goal here to die with the highest net worth possible? Or is the goal to live with the least amount of stress? So you got to ask yourself, why do I want money? And for me, when I asked myself that, I was like, to eliminate stress. So I'm like, I'm not really trying to like set some record of how much I have, I guess.
Yeah.
But I do think taking that stress out now will actually help me long term too, in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
so
no, I agree. I agree with that. And as you look at it into the future, it's like, yeah, how much stress do I want to put on myself? Even from a health standpoint, right? The lower stress that you can have, the better health you're going to have. And health is wealth, man. We're trying to live a long time, and for what reason? To enjoy time with our family and have those connections and build those relationships that mean the most. I feel like sometimes we get caught. We've talked about this. sometimes we get caught in that rat race where we're just trying to get to the next level, and there's always another level, right? And so if you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to be happy as soon as I get to this level, you're going to get to that level and you're not going to be any happier because there's another level, right? You get to the top of the stairs and you look up and there's another set of stairs and you're like, dude, there's another level. Let's go. And then you get caught in this wheel and then you end up dying with millions of dollars. Cool. Awesome. You died with millions of dollars in your bank account. How many people's lives did you affect on the way? How many better relationships could you have had if you wouldn't have put in 80 hours a week, right? So I think there's a balance. I'm not saying money's evil. We love money because money creates opportunities for us, right? Where we can bless other people's lives and we can give to charity. But I think we need to use money in a way to build those relationships that we want to have, build that free time so that we can travel and have those experiences in life that we want to have. Yeah,
and I also think with my personal strategy, it's personal to everyone, and everyone's got to evaluate their risk tolerance and their skill set. And when you really look at me, I'm a unicorn. Like, you cannot really compare what I'm doing to anyone else. So it is hard for me to get advice from people that do more traditional things. And I would say for the average person too, listening to this, that is selling door to door in the summers, probably a good idea to try to get that first house as fast as you can. Because you got to think, dude, I just did $250,000 in September. I had a $250,000 month, right? And it's just different when you're doing stuff like that and you're doing social media. You are able to. So I would say too, like for me, it was a great thing that I bought my first house. And I did that really just reselling stuff on eBay. And then my wife was a teacher, so our income was low, but buying that first house was big because the price went way up. And that's what happens to houses. So I still think for most people, buy as many houses as you can. But then for me, I'm really shifting my mindset, man, to like making money through the internet and making money through buying coaching and going to masterminds and networking and stuff like that. And I actually missed a freaking mastermind this past weekend, and I paid $5,000 for it, and it was going to be a good one. And I watched the content that came out of it, like some of it, and I was like, man, I wish I was there. But at the same time, you know, you pay that money to learn and to network and stuff.
Right.
But like that bet that I have up is for $400,000. I put it down in September. The game was in Vegas, and I was like, man, I got to be there for that. So we needed 3 wins, and that was the first. So we need 2 more wins, and then I cashed the $400K.
So hold on. So let's backtrack. So tell me about this. Cody is, for those that maybe are new to watching, Cody has been making money off of sports betting, right? So he places bets, and he also teaches other people and sells his programs, which we can link down here in the description. But Cody's made a massive bet, a future bet, right?
Yep.
So give us the play-by-play, because I think everybody wants to follow this story, and hopefully it ends up where we want it to.
I know, man.
But yeah,
it's pretty stressful actually.
So give us the play-by-play, because actually, and maybe we'll link your vlog in the description.
Yeah, just link. I would say we link the vlogs, and that'll kind of catch people up to speed.
Yeah, that's cool.
Somewhat, because I've vlogged myself going to the game. I actually put $50,000 in a backpack, flew to Vegas, and I vlogged all this. And I get there, and I'm like, I'm gonna do 50 to win $1 million, and this will be $1 million win. And I got there, and they're like, all right, this is a big bet, so we got to call in to our trade. They called them traders.
We got to call the big guys.
I don't know where the fuck these people were. They could have been in a back room. I don't know where they're at. They call in there, and then I'm recording this too. It's in the vlog. And she's like, we can only do $1,000. They limited you to 1,000. That's it.
And you had a backpack of 50 cash
in Vegas. And I flew out. Gosh. I got to the airport at 4 a.m. So I'm like, dude, I spent all day at the fucking airport. Uber to the casino. I get told I can only get 1,000. They move the lines down. So they're like, hey, we will let you put 50 down, but we'll only pay you $800K. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to do $1 million bet here for a YouTube video. And it's like, it wasn't really, it was about the money, but you know what I'm saying? I wanted to get that $1 million. So I'm like, you know what, dude, if I'm doing it for $800K, I'll just do it for $400K, put $20K down. And in Louisiana, DraftKings is legal. So I hit up this chick at Louisiana that's like my VIP representative, where I hit her up because they know I bet big. And I was like, hey, can you take 50K on this if I drive out there? And I was like, I'm in Vegas right now, so I'm going to fly home, then I'll drive out. She's like, yeah, we 100% could take that. It's on Washington. I'm like, why are y'all scared to take money on Washington? And I grew up in San Antonio. I grew up a Longhorn fan, so I'm not a Longhorn fan now. I'm not really a big fan of anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I just watch the Longhorns. I root for them to do well, and it's better when teams in your region are doing well. It's more fun. So I watched the Longhorns play Washington in the Alamo Bowl last year, and I'm like, who are these guys? And this purple team from Washington, the quarterback and receivers, like they dominated Texas. They won by 7, but they really controlled the whole game. And I kept an eye on them, and then I was like, okay, that's what kind of led me to wanting to do this. And dude, I watch every game. 4 TVs. I'm watching every single college football game.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, this guy Michael Penix and his receivers, Odunze, McMillan, and Polk, this is unbelievable. And their offensive line is good. He only got sacked 6 times last year. So that's what led me to going out there. And then when they didn't take the $50,000 bet, I'm like, that's crazy that there's teams like Georgia, Alabama, Texas that are so hyped, Michigan, Ohio State. Why are y'all scared of me putting 50K on Washington?
Do you think that's what it was, or why do you think they limited your play?
Well, yeah, they knew that there was a good chance Washington could be there in the end, so they didn't want to take that risk. So
Is that something they do, or is it like what? Because I would think my assumption would be if I go to Vegas and I want to put money on, that they're like, yeah, because they want my money, right? So
yeah,
that was interesting. I didn't know. That's the first time I'd seen that where they're like, oh no, we don't want to take your bet. Like,
yeah, and it sucks, bro, because I could have just drove to Louisiana. I figured in Vegas they wouldn't care, like 50K is nothing to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's smart that they did that because Washington now, if I had that down, I could throw $250,000 on Texas. I could hedge all the risk out of it. But it is what it is, man. I got a lot of money down still. I put down another 10K the other day when the odds came out. So the Final Four are in play now. Washington's going to play Texas, which is crazy because in September, before I went on the plane, I was at the airport parking lot in my vlog. I was like, this team like dominated Texas, so I know they can beat playoff teams. Now they're playing Texas the rematch, and it's in Louisiana. It's going to be indoors where the Saints play, and it's going to be fun, man. That's a good matchup. Like, I like that matchup. All these games at the end are very hard, so it's going to be scary no matter who you're playing. But that Oregon game, bro, was like the best game I've ever been to. Definitely one of the happiest moments in my sports betting life.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was so happy when we scored that touchdown to go up 10 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah. Who was that guy next to you, that bald guy you guys were like hugging? You're like, yeah, it was just some random guy.
Well, the guy I was hugging, he's not bald.
Oh, older dude.
But okay, yeah, okay. I was thinking if there was a bald guy, there might have been behind me or something. But yeah, he was. That's my realtor. So he would.
Oh, really?
He was about to get all those commissions.
Oh, he went
and
with
they got
you?
taken away. Yeah. So he.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought he was just a random guy.
No, so he actually has been with me the whole time, and you know he is a Airbnb master. So you know I've shown you his Airbnbs.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got a few Airbnbs that do like $15,000 a month. So
And he's out of Austin, right?
San Antonio, but yeah, Central Texas, and he actually. So at the beginning of the year, I made $10,000 like the first couple weeks of the season, and then the apps that I was making that money on, they limited my account and my wife's, so we couldn't really put money down anymore. So I told him exactly what to put money on, and he ran an account from $20,000 to like 30 over the course of the season. Mm-hmm. So he's been copying my plays just with more money all season, him and his family. And that's kind of how, when you win betting on sports, you have to have, they're called runners. It's like a term. Like, this has been going on for decades. And honestly, I learned about this when I first learned about sports betting, but to actually get to a point where I win so much that I'm using other people to help get money down because my bets are so good that these apps don't let me put more than $20 on a play.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. So he has experienced running accounts up with me. So he's lived it, you know, through his accounts. And yeah, he knows about all those players. And Washington was getting a player back, McMillan. He had been injured all year from week 3. And like, we needed this guy if we wanted to compete with the good teams.
Yeah.
And we did beat Oregon without him.
Right.
And we were rematching Oregon. And I could tell he was healthy because last week he ran all the routes. He didn't do a ton, but he's out there running around. So I was like, dude, he's going to be the X factor. And if you look at that viral clip, you can hear my friend Randall say, "Oh my God, McMillan." and then it's like he catches the deep pass, and we're like, dude, he's back, man.
You're like, McMillan.
So, but they were 10-point underdogs in that game, and they've been getting slept on all year, and it continues. I mean, still, dude, there's only 3 teams left, and if you risk $100 on them, you get $850. So $750 profit and your 100 back, but it pays. So I put 10 grand down, it pays 85. And that's right now. They just have to win 2 games.
And then your bet before that was what?
It was, I put down 20 to win 380. And then I put down, when I was in Vegas, I put the 1,000 down that they let me. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'll put 1,000 down. I mean, I'll put down all you can let me.
Might as well,
and 1 to win 20 on that. So altogether, I'm 31,000 in. If they win it all, it'll pay 476. So just under $500,000.
Let's go.
But the big thing, man, is as a content creator, I sell picks, and there's a lot of sketchy people that sell picks that don't actually win, and they just pretend to. And it's this weird cycle where you can actually make so much money selling picks. You can sell losing picks and make a ton of money, and then you're just flexing all this money so people think you're winning, and then you're just like cycling through these suckers and scamming them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. So for me to come out and back Washington early and for it to come through, I mean, it's already given me a lot of credibility, but when they beat Texas and then if they beat whoever comes out of Alabama, Michigan, I mean, that'll be on my resume forever. And that's going to be a legendary bet right there for sure.
Well, and I think within your content, you're pretty, you show your wins and losses too, which a lot of guys don't do that. So you do show when you lose, and so you're pretty transparent from what I've noticed.
Yeah, and that's helped. Like, I definitely could make more money if I was more aggressive with the marketing, but I really don't want to force people into it or sell them too hard with this, which is weird because, you know, we learn door-to-door sales is, you know, probably the most challenging form to sell things. And for this, it's actually like almost so easy that I really want to like make sure they know what they're getting into if they want to buy my picks, I guess. But yes, showing the wins and losses and just like letting them know like, hey guys, it's not guaranteed to hit. Whereas a lot of people would be like, guys, this is going to hit, and a lot more confident. But I tell them what they're getting into, or we might throw 50 bets down. We only need to hit 3 to profit, and that's what we're going with. And then we hit 4 or 5, we make a ton of money. And it's helped me get really good relationships with my clients. Like, I'm friends with a lot of these guys that bought my picks at the beginning of the year, and I've really done a good job building the community. And I do a lot of things that will turn people off that I don't want there. Like, say curse words, talk bad about like Travis Kelce and the vaccine, stuff like that. And it's really because I want the right type of person there. I'm not trying to attract everybody. A lot of people make content to attract everybody, and that's not what I'm about. I'm trying to build the right group. Yeah. It was the same thing with Vivint, you know. We want guys that aren't afraid to work for commission. We want guys that aren't afraid to get paid based on their performance. If you're coming in and you're saying, oh, well, I should at least get $15 an hour, it's like, okay, go work at Chick-fil-A, bro. This isn't fucking Chick-fil-A, son. Yeah. Like, there's people with Lambos pulling up to this office.
Right.
Go look at the Chick-fil-A manager's car, dude. This isn't it. And I tell people that on my channel, too, to kind of deter those soft people away. Because I don't want that in my community on my channel. You know?
Want a certain culture, a certain vibe.
It's more fun when it's very similar to the Vivint vibe, where it's hustlers, guys that aren't afraid of hard work. And it's just fun, you know. And there's a niche there. And the way our society's been the last 5 years, like, a lot of people are really craving that right now.
Yeah. I think they are looking for something that's going to get them ahead because inflation's crazy. Economy's wild right now. You know, interest rates are insane. So,
well, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about, like, being a fucking man. Yeah. Like, there's no crying. There's no participation trophies. Like, in 2023, that's what a lot of people are craving. They see how weak everyone is, and they want a place where there's no weak people.
Yeah.
You get to the end of a Vivint summer, there really is no weak people left. And that's dope. Like, that's rare, dude. You're not going to find a group of people where it's like that.
Only the strong survive.
Probably like military, again, like a special operations unit. And that's like something that's really helped me blow up the channel. And I think that's what really attracts all the guys here. Like today when I talk to them, that's what they really love about this door-to-door stuff, you know.
They like the challenge that it's hard. So I'm doing something kind of hard right now.
What are you doing?
I haven't eaten food for 3 days.
That's right, bro. We got to talk about that.
I'm dying right now, dude.
Dude, 3 days. How long are you taking it?
So 72 hours.
Yep.
So Sunday night, I had dinner at 5 o'clock, and I haven't eaten anything since Sunday night, and it's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have, what time is it now? 1 or 2 o'clock? I've got like 3 hours left.
Really? So you're about to eat?
So I'm going to eat tonight at 5 o'clock.
What are you going to eat to break the fast?
I don't know. I've read that if you go that long without food, you can't just kind of eat. Well, you mean you could? But
yeah, you want to eat probably like steak, dude, like grass-fed steak.
Well, what they said is like you want to eat something that's easy to digest, so like something soft, like soup, noodles, fish, eggs, bananas, like stuff that's your body doesn't have to really try super hard to digest. Like you don't want to eat raw vegetables, right? Like something hard. So as much as I'd want to just go crazy tonight, I'm probably just gonna eat something chill. But
yeah, eat something healthy.
You've
worked so hard. You don't want to fuck it up when
I've flushed out.
You start eating cookies and stuff. It'll just have a reverse effect because your body will, which literally I've done on Stranded. Like it's crazy because I ate like shit as soon as I got off that show. I was eating everything in full survival mode, and dude, I got so fat so fast.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was like, dude, I went from being starving to overweight in like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's unbelievable. I can't even believe that. So
you pack it on quick. Yeah, I weighed myself Sunday night, and then I weighed myself this morning. It's been like 2.5 days, and I'm down 14 pounds, which I'm not doing this as like a weight loss thing. This was more so health benefits.
Yep.
So right now there's a lot of social media, at least on my page, of talking about the 72-hour fast. That's what got me on it. Have you seen? Are you seeing that at all?
And of course, Dana White, dude.
Oh yeah, so Dana White. So Dana White plugged. That's probably why.
Well, I got it right here, dude.
You got
UFC. I got the UFC hoodie.
So I saw Dana White talking about it, and his guy David Brecka. He's like his like health guru, right?
10X Health.
10X Health. So I saw him talking about it, and I was like, you know what? I do have a history of cancer in my family. Different health issues and things like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna go 72 hours. Hopefully, it cleans out my system. Because if you go 72 hours, it shows that your body will eat and destroy the bad cells or the leftover cells that are just in your body that are damaged. And those are a lot of times the cells that turn into cancer.
Yep.
And so by doing this fast, the goal is to clean all that out. It resets your immune system as well. And by hour 60, when you're in the 60s, your human HGH, your human growth hormone, multiplies by 5, and so your ability to rebuild muscle is also spikes. And so, so far, dude, honestly, the first day was terrible. I was pissed. I wanted food. I was starving. And then the last 2 days, honestly, my hunger went away. Like I haven't been hungry. I've just noticed I've been a little bit more tired, a little more fatigued. Physically, mentally, I feel actually pretty sharp. Like I don't feel like mentally I'm dragging as much. I actually feel more clear, a little more clarity. But it's been wild, dude. But I am excited to eat eventually. Like I'm not craving anything right now.
Yeah, because you got past that first day.
Yeah.
So now you're really, and I bet a lot of people get into that 72 hour and they're like, you know what, dude, let's go 2 more days. Yeah. You think you could do that, or
I definitely could, but I can feel my body's like, hey, we gotta eat something. Like my body's telling me like, bro, it's been a good run, but for health reasons.
No, that's not your body. That's your mind, bro.
Dude, no, it actually is my body.
That's your heart, bro.
No, I feel great. I feel fine.
You're being weak.
Physically, I could do it. But also, and I think maybe on the next one.
It's a good warm-up, yeah.
Yeah,
72 is a good warm-up, and then maybe you do a full, because Dana did a full week. I think you do a full week later, in a few months.
Yeah.
Hit it again.
And they say, do it every 6 months to a year just to reset everything and do that. So I'll probably do that. But on the next one, I think I'll push it maybe another day or two.
Yeah, you know who else just did that? I mean, everyone did it because Dana, but Dan Cavada.
Oh yeah, I saw Dan Cavada doing it too.
He does the fasting a little too. And it's smart to do, and I'm glad that you got sucked into that content because basically, man, when my mom got cancer, I learned a ton about health. And yeah, our American culture, we just consume so much poison. Everything's poison, and it's hard, but it's like you have to just make small changes, and then hopefully a few years from now, you'll have it super dialed in. But
Yeah.
you also have to figure out how you want to live and stuff like that, and how intentional. But
Yeah.
have you done a cold plunge?
So I bought a cold plunge in the summer.
You're like, I just got to put it together though.
Yeah, well, it was like one of those like tubs like this, but I didn't have anywhere to put it, so I didn't end up setting it up. But I did.
Yep.
When I would go to the gym, I'd take like a cold shower after the gym.
Yep.
But I do want to get a plunge. You have one?
Yeah, I need to get a water cooler. It's probably getting cold enough to where, like last winter when it was cold, I did it a few times, but I haven't done it consistently either though.
You have one at the house that you set
Yeah,
up?
I have the ice barrel, so
okay.
I just need to get into it. I mean, I did it like 3 times, man, and it was seriously the hardest thing ever for me.
Especially first thing in the morning.
Dude,
you
it's
climb out of a warm bed.
It is the worst, and man, it really turns your body like on 10 out of 10, alive and awake. You're just in survival mode. You're like, it was hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I see some people, I don't know if it's like everybody's body's different or maybe the water they have wasn't as cold as mine, but I'm like, dude, that shit is fucking, your first time, I mean, I'm sure you get a little more used to handling it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nuts. And when I got out, I felt great. I thought I was going to be cold, but the blood was flowing so strong
that's crazy.
that I was warm. I'm like, that's crazy. It is like 35 degrees outside. The water's cold, and I'm warm. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
Who would have thought jumping in cold water, getting out would make you warm?
Did you get that euphoric, like, I felt like I got an adrenaline rush big time. Like, I felt really good.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I felt, when I get out of a cold shower for like 2 hours, you just feel like good. You get an endorphin pump, which is weird. I don't know the science behind it.
Yeah, I can see how people get addicted. It's like really hard to do, but then after you do it, that's the payoff.
Yeah, you feel great.
It's nuts.
And I've been hitting the sauna too. I've been doing the sauna every day for like 10, 15 minutes.
At the gym? Or?
Yeah, at the gym.
Yep, that's good.
Workout.
That's good for you.
Work out, hit the, I'll do some cardio and then hit the sauna. Yeah, the sauna is great because, if you have a history of heart problems in the family, helps reduce heart attack, stroke, because it opens up all your vascular, valves and your blood vessels and get your blood really going because it's heating up, and it just helps keep everything flowing really good. So
yeah, I got to get mine set up in the garage, dude. I'll do that soon.
get a sauna in there.
Yeah, we have one that's like a little, I don't know how to describe it. It's nothing crazy because we're not in our house that we're trying to like settle down in yet.
Yeah.
But once I get to the house that I want to live in for long term, I want to get a legit one built in like the backyard and stuff.
That'd be cool.
But yeah.
Sauna, cold plunge, garage gym. What else? Theater room for all the football.
Yep. I mean, I think the garage gym, now that I have the Lambo, I mean, you can still have a garage gym, but you almost could just put an indoor gym.
Yeah,
just
true.
build the garage gym indoors, and then salvage that garage space. For the cars.
You don't want to wait to hit the Lambo.
And it would be, well, it's just hard to pack it in. Like, I have a 3-car garage and it barely fits now. Definitely would want a 4 or 5 car garage. That's like, have to have at least 4. But it's also nice when it's cold, dude, to not start if your car's in the driveway, it's going to be freezing. If your car's sitting in the garage, and I've really never had that because I've always had a garage gym and stuff, and I've never really parked the car in the garage. But that's something that I'm trying to do next once I get a house. But I haven't really been thinking about a house too much because I just want to make way more money.
Yeah. Is that your focus?
Maybe like 1 or 2 more years. I don't know.
What's your focus now? Is it stacking cash, or what's your next purchase you looking to do?
Dude, all I'm focused on is willing this Washington Huskies team to this win.
Yeah, it's like
that's all I'm focused on.
All the focus is on that.
Increase the income, because if you look around, you look at what you can get. It's like, is it that much harder to make enough to get a $2 or $3 million house? And then, do you want that? I don't even know if I want that.
Right.
I mean, they're sick, but also
Kind of where I'm at.
There's something that would be cool about getting like just a $1 million house, living below your means, having no stress. But then also you look at some of the stuff for 3, and the idea of having a basketball court indoors or in the backyard is really cool to me, where you can just go shoot threes in your backyard.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't even know what I want, but I'm just going to get through the tax season, see how much I have left, and then try to drive that income through the roof. Try to get to where I can bring in $1 million a year through everything that I'm doing. And I think I can get there within the next year, crack the code.
Yeah.
And the way I'll get there is masterminds, paying guys like Cardone and guys like that to get on a Zoom call and just figure out that path. And dude, there was a good quote that I heard, and the guy broke it down, and it was pretty cool. And I'm gonna see if I can just not fuck it up, but he was saying making $1 million a month is easier. Making $1 million a month is easier than making $1 million a year. And the way he basically broke it down is because he's like, dude, there's no hard way to make $1 million a month. Like you find anyone who makes $1 million a month, they are leveraging things in a way where it's very easy for them.
Something's already moving to generate that.
They've got something crazy going on.
Right.
And he broke it down in a really good way. It was Myron Golden, the black dude with one leg. He's a beast at public speaking. But it's kind of corny to say, it's easier to make $1 million a month than $1 million a year, but it actually makes sense because all the guys that you find that make $1 million a year, even myself included right now, because that's about where I'm at. I did work really hard this year. And if you found a guy that makes $1 million a month or $1 million a week, I bet you they're chilling. They probably have some shit up and running where the money's flowing in and they're spending, maybe $1 million on ads to get $2 million back, and they're doing something. Most people making $1 million a month aren't like working their ass off.
It makes sense because the $1 million a year that's the grind, right? To get the $1 million, to build the machine. And then once the machine's built, it can generate $1 million a month, right? It's that grind.
Well, to be honest, bro, the way that you're thinking, actually, I think you would need like, I don't know, 50 million or 100 to make $1 million a month passively.
Right.
But I think like more of what he was saying was like cracking the code. Like, I don't even know. There's ways though. And I've done it a little, but basically just, I think most of it, bro, comes through the internet somehow.
Yeah.
Like the people that are making $1 million a month easily without investing 50 million into the stock market, they're cracking the code on TikTok or Instagram Reels or something like internet related, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Well, freaking love it, dude.
That was a good little talk today.
Yeah, I think we got some cool things in the pipeline, and I'm a new Huskies fan. I'm hoping
for
that
the
Washington
next few weeks, man.
for till January. When's the championship game?
It is January 8th, and that is Forrest, my boy's first birthday.
I hope it's the best birthday he's ever had.
I know, man. It's his first. It's like destiny. There's so many things I think about it. Like, dude, like I've been wanting to do this for so long, and yeah, there's just a lot of signs, and I'm like, dude, it's such a long shot, but I just hope it happens.
I think it will. If you like the podcast and you want to see another one, click right here. If you want to see some of our other content, click right here.